This is the Kennedy Space Center, where greatness and astonishing accomplishments have been achieved through the efforts of NASA and now SpaceX. In July of 1958, NASA was established, and then in 1967, the Kennedy Space Center was formed and partnered with NASA to make the most successful space program in the world. The Kennedy Space Center, or Cape Canaveral, aka the Cape, has been a site where hundreds of spacecrafts have launched. Millions of visitors have watched the launchings from Cocoa Beach ever since the first takeoff in 1958 of Explorer 1, which was the first successful launch satellite by the US. Many other programs, such as the Mercury program, Project Gemini, the Apollo program, and the Space Shuttle program, have been huge learning curves for NASA over a 45-year span. Now, a new company called SpaceX, ran by Elon Musk, is collaborating with NASA and will be launching the Falcon Heavy at the end of January. Mr. Hanley has experienced one of these incredible launchings.
First launch I witnessed was once again in 2005. I was lucky enough to go down, and my in-laws had grown up in Florida. So they knew the best places to go and actually watch a launch, because they had watched some of the Gemini and Apollo missions when they were kids, going up to Cocoa Beach. So they were the ones who told me, this is where you go, this is where you park, and then you just walk out onto the beach and look to the north. I watched a satellite being launched from there, and I was lucky enough to time it that I was able to watch the final shuttle mission launch, the Atlantis. So I saw the launch of the final shuttle. I saw another one go off that was taking cargo up to the International Space Station. So it was just basically a pod full of food and water and other necessities. Not that it really mattered. It looked like an amazing launch. Yeah, right. It didn't really matter what they were launching up. All the locals would tell you that you really had to be there for the 60s to see the Saturn V go off. Compared to the Saturn V, the smaller rockets that they're using for low Earth orbit to get to the ISS are much smaller. I almost wish I could play hooky and go down at the end of the month for the SpaceX Falcon X launch, because the rockets are getting larger and larger again. Not quite as big as the Saturn V, but they're getting close. Elon Musk is really grabbing onto new designs, new rocket designs, and new use of technology. It always works really well when you're building a new vehicle. You get to use the most modern equipment, where something like the shuttle was almost stuck in its design from the 1970s, so it was very difficult to update. And he's someone who's doesn't seem to be afraid of taking chances with new and radical designs. I'm sure there were a lot of people, when he told them he was actually going to try and land that first stage under power vertically back on the launch pad, probably told him that he was out of his mind. I'm pretty sure that came up in a couple of the conversations. The Falcon Heavy is ready to launch. It's scheduled to launch at the end of the month. They did a live fire test of the engines just a few days ago, where it was the first time they fired all the engines at once. And as far as I can tell, it was a successful test. And the rumor has it that it's unconfirmed, but the internet's awash with rumors, that there is one of Tesla's Roadsters is in the cargo section of the Falcon Heavy, and that Musk is planning on putting it into orbit around Mars. Whether that's true or not, I guess we'll find out.
And if you want to find out more about SpaceX and their other projects, visit SpaceX.com.